before the litanies, before the rosary, even before the church defined the great Marian dogmas. There was a prayer, simple, deep, urgent, like a cry from the heart of the early Christians. We fly to thy protection, O Holy Mother of God. Can you picture it? A time when the church still gathered in secret, when persecution was constant, and professing faith in Jesus could cost you your life. And yet, even then, there was a name that brought courage, a heart that offered shelter. Mary. That's how the oldest known Marian prayer came into the world. Long before grand cathedrals, before theological titles, before scholarly treatises on Mary, the church already knew. Mary is a refuge. Mary is a shield. Mary is a mother. This prayer, now known as tuum praesidium, is not just a historical relic. It's a living treasure of our faith. Its power doesn't come from poetic beauty or theological complexity. It flows from its spiritual instinct, a raw, immediate trust in the loving protection of the Mother of God. There's no ornamentation, no lofty language, just a humble plea. Do not despise our petitions. Deliver us from all danger. O glorious and blessed Virgin. These words were spoken nearly 1,700 years ago, and they're still prayed today by countless hearts across continents. Whenever fear strikes, whenever hope fades. In this video, you'll discover the moving story behind this ancient prayer. We'll journey back to the 2nd and 3rd centuries, to a time when faith was lived underground, and love for Mary lit the darkness. You'll encounter the ancient Egyptian manuscript, where this prayer was preserved in Greek, a sacred hymn, now known to be the oldest Marian prayer we possess. But more than history, you'll uncover why these words endure, why they still speak to us, why, even now, in the middle of modern chaos, so many souls still whisper, "We fly to thy protection, O Holy Mother of God." This is a prayer that never grows old. Because a mother's heart never grows old, Mary still hears, still shelters, still welcomes. Get ready to rediscover the oldest Marian prayer, and perhaps the most relevant. A prayer that links Christians of the 3rd century to believers in the 21st. A prayer that needs no embellishment because it's made of pure love. Before we explore the history, we need to listen, not just with the mind, but with the heart, to the words of this ancient prayer. Yes, they're old, but each line still echoes with life, as if it had been written yesterday by someone kneeling, eyes full of tears, soul wide open before the Mother of God. In its original Greek, the prayer reads, Pitafni sigmani esplachnian katafevwomen, theotokie, taf sigma mini kesias mi paridis ni peristasi, lambda lambda, kappa kin vinu litros mi sigma, moni gamani moni elogimeni. The Latin version became, Sub tuum praesidium confugimus, sancta Dei genitrix, nostras deprecations inni despicies in necessitatibus nostris, sed a periculus cunctus labora in nos semper, Virgo gloriosa et benedicta. And today, we pray in English. We fly to thy protection, O Holy Mother of God. Do not despise our petitions and our necessities, but deliver us always from all dangers. O glorious and blessed Virgin. Simple, clear, direct, yet overflowing with depth. We fly to thy protection. This isn't poetic imagery. It's a cry of the soul. It's the child running into a mother's arms. In the darkest night, it's the Christian heart surrounded by danger, choosing not to despair, but to trust. O Holy Mother of God. This line already affirms one of the greatest truths of our faith. Mary is the Mother of God incarnate. And if she is his mother, then she is ours too. Do not despise our petitions. Those who pray know their unworthiness. They know their hands are empty, but still they dare to ask, not out of merit, but because they know the heart of the one who never turns anyone away, but deliver us from all dangers, not just physical harm. This is a cry for spiritual protection, from temptation, from evil, from the invisible traps that threaten our souls. O glorious and blessed Virgin. She is virgin, yet mother, humble, yet glorified, servant of the Lord, yet honored above all women. In this video, we'll reflect on how each word of this prayer was written with urgency, with devotion, with unshakable faith. And when we pray it today, we enter into a living stream of trust, the same stream that connected the earliest Christians to the Mother of God, because those who seek Mary's protection are never abandoned. To truly grasp the power of the tuum praesidium, we must journey back in time, not to the Middle Ages, not to the golden domes of basilicas, but to a much earlier era, when being a Christian meant living under threat. We're talking about the 2nd to 4th centuries, the dawn of the Church, a time when believers lived in the shadow of the Roman Empire, often hidden, gathering in underground catacombs, whispering prayers in the dark, and expecting, at any moment, the sound of soldiers at the door. It was an age of blood and martyrdom, of silent heroism, of unshakable trust. And yet, even in such danger, devotion to Mary was already blooming. The early Christians didn't have theological treatises about the mother of Jesus, but they had something greater, a living trust, simple, immediate, real. They knew Mary is a mother. Mary protects. Mary never abandons her children. And from this lived experience, a prayer was born, beginning with the words, "We fly to thy protection." It wasn't poetry. It was the voice of the soul, a cry held in silence, a plea rising from prison walls, ascending like incense to heaven. This prayer was not first written. It was lived in trembling hearts, in the long nights before martyrdom, in those final moments when everything else seemed lost, except the hope placed in the Mother of God. Mary was their spiritual shelter, a tower of refuge, the one who, like at the wedding in Cana, knew how to intercede when all seemed to be running out. Even before the Church had formally defined dogmas, they already called her by the most exalted title, Theotokos, Mother of God. This tells us something profound. That belief in Mary's divine motherhood did not begin in councils. It was born in the hearts of the faithful, forged in their lived experience of her maternal care. In this video, we'll uncover how the tuum praesidium is more than an ancient prayer. It is a living testimony of the soul of the early Church, a witness that Mary was already known as refuge, as shield, as companion in suffering. And when we pray it today, we're not just reciting words. We are joining the first martyrs, the early Christian communities, the church that overcame a brutal empire, not with swords, but with faith and prayer. Because those who live under threat learn quickly who truly loves them like a mother. And the early Christians knew it well. Mary never fails. Faith doesn't leave traces only in hearts. It also leaves marks in history. And that's exactly what happened with the prayer tuum praesidium. For centuries, this prayer was known, recited, passed down orally, and woven into the fabric of liturgy. But no one really knew when or where it had first been written. That is, until 1917, in the heart of the Egyptian desert, in a place called Oxyrhynchus. Archaeologists made a discovery that would astound the Christian world. Among fragments of ancient papyri, commercial records, personal letters, religious writings, they found something hidden for nearly 2,000 years. A fragile piece of parchment with a short prayer written in Greek. Bitafni sigmani esplanknian katafevwomen, Theotoke. It was the tuum praesidium, the oldest known prayer to the Virgin Mary. Scholars dated the manuscript to the 3rd century, around the year 250 AD, right in the midst of one of the fiercest periods of persecution against the early Church. And perhaps most astonishing, the prayer already referred to Mary as Theotokos, God-bearer, a title that wouldn't be officially defined as dogma until the Council of Ephesus in 431 AD. This tells us something powerful. Before theological formulas were inked into doctrine, the faith of the Church already lived in the hearts of the faithful. The discovery at Oxyrhynchus wasn't just an archaeological event. It was a window into the soul of early Christianity. That parchment stood as silent testimony that the first Christians in the face of danger, suffering, and death, were already turning to Mary for protection. They already knew her tenderness. They already trusted her intercession. They already believed she could guard them from dangers both seen and unseen. In this video, we'll explore why this discovery matters so deeply, because it connects us across time with our brothers and sisters in the faith. It shows us that our devotion to Mary is ancient, not a modern invention or sentimental novelty. We're not starting something new. We're walking the same road that saints once walked. And more than that, every time we pray this ancient plea, we are echoing the voices of the desert, the whispers of prison walls, the faith of martyrs and confessors, a prayer that has endured through centuries and is still alive today because the mother is the same, and her children, too, remain the same, fragile, small, but deeply trusting. And Mary? She is still the same, our unshakable refuge. Among all the words in the tuum praesidium prayer, one stands out with immense theological and spiritual weight. Theotokos, Mother of God. To the early Christians, this wasn't just a beautiful title. It was a declaration of faith, a living confession of the mystery of the Incarnation, that Jesus Christ, fully man, is also fully God, and that Mary is truly the mother of the one who is God. The Greek word Theotokos means literally, God-bearer, or she who gives birth to God. It's a title rich with meaning, revered, ancient, and deeply rooted in the life of the Church. Long before it was formally declared a dogma at the Council of Ephesus in 431, the title Theotokos was already present in prayers, hymns, and the devotional life of the faithful. And the tuum praesidium is among the earliest surviving examples of this. When the early Church called Mary Theotokos, they were affirming two essential truths at once: that Jesus is truly God, and that Mary is truly his mother, not merely a human vessel. This wasn't just theological theory. It was a vital profession of faith, especially as heresies began to challenge the full divinity of Christ. To proclaim Mary as the Mother of God was to proclaim that God truly became man, that he entered history, time, in the womb of a woman, that out of love, he chose to have a mother. So when we pray tuum praesidium today, we're doing more than asking for protection. We are standing within a faith that has sustained the Church for centuries. And that's what makes this prayer so profound. It's deeply Christological. Though directed to the Virgin Mary, it is grounded in the mystery of Christ himself. Mary is the Mother of God, not because of her own merit, but because she bore the eternal Son of the Father in her womb. And that's why trusting in her does not pull us away from Jesus. It draws us deeper into who he truly is. It helps us love him more. It helps us grasp the mystery of the Incarnation and redemption with hearts full of wonder. In this video, we'll explore why calling Mary Theotokos isn't just ancient tradition. It's a shield against error, a nourishment for the soul, and the loving embrace of a mother who always leads us to her Son. Because whoever recognizes Mary as the Mother of God soon discovers something beautiful. In the heart of such a mother, there is room for every child. What makes a prayer truly alive? It's not the number of words, not the elegance of its language. It's the spirit with which it's prayed. And when we look at the tuum praesidium, we find more than an ancient text. We discover a pure expression of early Christian spirituality. It's a short prayer, but it says everything. No elaborate phrasing, no theological complexity. It comes from a heart that trusts, pleads, and surrenders. Under your protection, we take refuge. The soul doesn't argue. It doesn't try to stand on its own. It simply runs into the arms of the mother. That's the first spiritual lesson of this prayer. To admit we need help, that we are fragile, that we don't always know what to do, but that there is a safe place, the heart of the Mother of God. Do not despise our petitions. Here, we learn to pray with humility. The one who prays this way doesn't demand, doesn't bargain, just lays their pain, their needs, and their hopes before her. with the simplicity of a child. The spirituality of this prayer is one of trust without understanding, of the Christian who kneels and, instead of explaining everything to God, simply surrenders and waits. But deliver us from all dangers. This is the prayer of mature faith, a faith that acknowledges real danger, both outside and within, but also knows that Mary can intercede, protect, and defend. What does this prayer teach us? That we don't have to face everything alone, that even when storms rage around us, there is still a place of refuge. The spirituality of the tuum praesidium is one of total confidence. It's not a rushed prayer. It's a prayer prayed with the heart resting in the arms of the Mother. And finally, when we call her glorious and blessed Virgin, we learn to honor her greatness without losing sight of her closeness. She is glorious, but near, exalted, yet always beside those who suffer. In this video, we'll see that when we pray tuum praesidium, we do more than ask for protection. We enter a spirituality that is deep, balanced, and full of peace. A spirituality that trusts, that surrenders, that finds rest. Because a prayer doesn't have to be long to be powerful. It only needs to be true. And when the heart bows low, Mary leans in. And when we plead, she answers with a mother's love. What begins in the silence of persecution eventually resounds on altars all over the world. That's what happened with the prayer tuum praesidium. It was born as an intimate cry, perhaps whispered by Christians hiding in the catacombs, in times of fear, uncertainty, and martyrdom. But true love, the kind that flows from faith and trust in Mary, can't stay hidden for long. As the centuries passed, this little prayer began to be copied, passed on, sung, and gradually it found its way into the heart of the Church's liturgy. It wasn't enforced by decree. It spread through living tradition. The Church recognized in these words a beauty that time could not tarnish. Though ancient, the prayer continued to speak to the heart of every generation. And so it was incorporated into the liturgy of the hours, especially during Compline, the final prayer of the day. There, when the world falls quiet, the soul whispers once more in trust. Under your protection, we take refuge. And this isn't just in the West. In the Eastern Catholic churches, as well as in the Orthodox tradition, this prayer holds a place of deep reverence and is part of the Church's official daily prayer. Over the centuries, it has become a universal hymn of trust in Mary. Pope after pope, century after century, this prayer has been recommended, recited in processions, during times of war, on major Marian feasts, and in the stillness of silent retreats. In many places, it became part of the divine office. On Marian feast days, often recited before or after the Salvergina, as a brief, heartfelt, and powerful plea. In times of danger, especially during wars, persecutions, and plagues, popes have encouraged the faithful to take refuge in this ancient prayer, a spiritual shelter, a reminder that Mary is always near. In this video, we'll explore how tuum praesidium, once hidden on a forgotten papyrus in the Egyptian desert, has become a liturgical treasure of the universal Church, a prayer that walks with the people of God. At the end of each day, in moments of sorrow, in moments of gratitude, and in those quiet petitions that no one else hears, but the Mother always does. Because when faith is genuine, it doesn't need to be imposed. It is passed on, alive, enduring. And when love for Mary is real, it always finds a place in the heart of the Church. There's something beautiful about a prayer born in a hidden corner of history that spreads quietly like a flame until it reaches the heart of the whole world. That's the story of tuum praesidium. This humble prayer, first whispered by persecuted Christians, was never confined to a single people, culture, or land. It crossed borders, transcended languages, and united traditions. In both the Western Church and the Eastern churches, this prayer continues to be cherished and prayed to this day. In the Latin Church, within the Roman Rite, it became a part of the liturgy of the hours, especially during Compline, as the final plea for protection before rest. But what's even more striking is how this same prayer, with the same heart, is found in Byzantine, Coptic, Syriac, and Armenian traditions, repeated in different tongues, yet carrying the same childlike trust. Beneath your compassion, we take refuge, O Mother of God, in the divine liturgy of Saint John Chrysostom, and in many Eastern rites. This prayer is sung with deep solemnity and devotion. It's profoundly moving to realize that even separated by geography, culture, and rite, Christians east and west pray the same words, with the same love, to the same mother, in a world often fractured, and even within the church, wounded by division and misunderstanding. Sub tuum praesidium shines as a thread of unity, a sacred hymn that brings separated brothers and sisters together. But more than uniting liturgies, this prayer unites hearts, hearts that know their need for help, hearts that see in Mary a mother, a refuge, a source of universal comfort. In this video, we'll reflect on the beauty of this unity, because whether the prayer is offered in Latin, Greek, Arabic, or Portuguese, what truly matters is that it rises from the same faith and ascends to heaven with the same strength. And that reveals a timeless truth. Mary is the mother of the entire church, of every child, of every rite, of every people. And when the people of God pray together, even in many tongues, heaven hears one voice, the voice of children who trust. Some prayers are born for a specific moment in time, but others cross the centuries because they carry an eternal truth. Sub tuum praesidium is one of those prayers. It was born in the era of persecution, and it still speaks directly to the hearts of the afflicted. It arose when Christians feared for their lives, and it continues to live in the hearts of those who face fear, anguish, and uncertainty. Yes, the world has changed, but the human heart remains wounded. We are still fighting both visible and invisible dangers. Sickness, crises, war, division, violence, moral confusion. And in the midst of it all, this ancient prayer remains, a timeless spiritual refuge. How many times, under the weight of life, do we not even know what to say to God? And then we return to simplicity. Under your protection, we take refuge, Holy Mother of God. It's not a magic formula. It's not empty repetition. It is an act of faith, a gesture of surrender. It's the child running, without needing to explain, into the arms of the mother. In recent times, many popes have encouraged this prayer in moments of global distress. During wars, pandemics, disasters, and persecutions, the people of God have turned to Mary with these same words. It is short, but it is complete. It doesn't ask for riches or demand signs. It simply says, "We are in need, do not turn away." And that is our daily reality. How many mothers, fathers, young people, and elderly today face situations that seem hopeless? How many pray alone in their rooms, without the strength for eloquent words, but with hearts full of pain? This prayer was made for those moments. It doesn't require intellectual effort. It requires just one thing: trust. And whoever trusts, even in the darkest nights, discovers that Mary still listens, that Mary still protects, that Mary still acts. In this video, we'll reflect on how Sub tuum praesidium doesn't just belong to history. It belongs to now. It is a prayer for today, for children who still need a mother's embrace, her comfort, her care, and even more. It is a prayer that forms us, teaching us to pray with the heart, to trust without seeing, to love without conditions, because those who run to the mother never lose their way. It was prayed in the shadows of the catacombs, whispered with faith in the deserts of Egypt, murmured behind prison walls, sung in monasteries, cried out on battlefields, lifted in hospital rooms, lived by saints, and today, it still lives on the lips of all who call Mary their mother. Under your protection, we take refuge, Holy Mother of God. This prayer has not grown old. It has crossed generations without losing its strength, without losing its sweetness, without losing its power. Why is it still so relevant today? Because the needs of the human heart have not changed. Because even the modern soul still trembles with fear, still longs for shelter, still seeks protection. And Mary remains the same mother, the one who received John at the foot of the cross, the one who comforted the apostles in the upper room, the one who listened to the first Christians in times of terror, and the one who listens to you even now. When we pray this ancient invocation, we're not just reciting old words. We're entering into a living memory, the living faith of our brothers and sisters who came before us. We're joining a spiritual tradition born from the blood of martyrs and passed on as a heritage of trust. That's the beauty of tuum praesidium. It's not a prayer of lofty theology. It's a cry from the heart, an offering, a child's plea. It's short, but it contains an entire soul. And if ever you don't know how to pray, don't know where to begin, if the pain is too heavy, if the silence is too deep, start here. Say this prayer, slowly, with faith, with your heart, and you will see Mary will come. She never turns away. She listens. She receives. Even if nothing around you changes immediately, even if the danger remains, you will feel it, a quiet, peaceful certainty. You are not alone. In this video, we've journeyed through history, through centuries of Christian faith, through an unbreakable trust in Mary's protection. But the story continues now with you, with your voice, with your petition, with your act of trust. Repeat with me. Under your protection, we take refuge, Holy Mother of God. Do not despise our petitions and our necessities, but deliver us always from every danger. O glorious and blessed Virgin. Amen.